The Top 20 Video Game Show Countdown Reaction Party. This week's theme, Western, Wild West, Cowboys. Our first track is from Sonic Mania. It's Skyway Octane, Mirage Saloon Act 1, composed by T. Lopes and chosen by risqueboots. Yeah, super high energy. I mean, it's a Sonic track. At first I thought, Sonic? Really? I'd say that, like, it definitely has the whistles, that it's going for that Ennio Morricone. Oh, wah, wah, wah. But I'd say when it gets going, it sounds more like it's in Castlevania. Good, Bad, and the Ugly. Is that what it is? Yeah, thanks, Chris. Yeah, this is just like a real kind of Castlevania with the instrumentation, like the guitar and the bit of orchestra, kind of hard FM synth sounds. It's like really kind of rousing, epic. That there, isn't that like so Castlevania? So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's like the greatest example of Western music, cowboy music, especially this. Like that's just first it goes for that kind of Dorimo, and then it throws you for a loop with the that sort of like crazy chord substitution they do. Really kind of jazz nerdy, but I think it's Sonic, so. It gets a bit of a pass, not being like super Western kind of authentic. Sonic's got a Sonic, but I was curious to see if there would be something really, really Western for Sonic. But let's move on to the next one. All right, well, next up, let's see how Saturn's version of Bomberman, released in 1996, does. This is Wild West World, composed by Jun Chikuma and chosen by Rudi. Oh, God. Wow. This is some wacky shit, man. I mean, again, it does the good, bad, and the ugly opening. Thanks to Chris for identifying that. That kind of like dun, 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 dun. That's weird. It's almost like sounds more Egyptian. But then you got this kind of surf guitar, westerny desert guitar with the tremolo bar. I like that the reverb on the it's not like a rim shot, but it's like whatever that thing is. Oh, it's like what do they call them? They call them music blocks, or like wooden sticks. They're like this is pretty weird, but you know what? This is cool. It's like very different, odd, really in its own world. But I feel like this is the Bomberman's version of the West. This is really strange. This definitely feels how you guys were talking. Somebody was saying like you'd be curious to know what the Japanese composer's idea of the Western music would be, and not just Western music like North American Wild Wild West. Okay, all right. Moving on to track 3. Let's see how Toy Story 2 does. This is Al's Penthouse, composed by Andy Blythe, Marten Joustra, chosen by Chris. Wow, this is quite the epic track. I mean, it's like still building and changing. This is like quite amazing. Really, like Rudy's saying, pretty serious vibe for a Toy Story game. I mean, you could put that in like Diablo or Red Dead Redemption, or there's like a real heavy weight to it. Oh yeah. If you sort of said, here's 4 games, here's 4 songs, tell me which song goes with which game. I mean, even like the level name's not going to give it away. Al's Penthouse, is that Western? But man, it uses that same sort of whistle motif, trying to evoke. All these songs have started off trying to just evoke the good, bad, and the ugly in the most generic way possible, which can help if you are gonna go in such a different direction. Sounds really nice. Makes good use of the whistle, the guitars. I like that constant, steady snare roll. Almost sounds like a rattlesnake. And the harmonica is really nice. It's a really beautiful, epic track. Holy shit. That was a nice one. Ennio Morricone just nailed it so well, you can't even really think of it being done in a different way. Just his use of even just like the rhythms, the instruments, of course the whistling melody. I like the Mandalorian season 1 soundtrack or score. That was cool because it was different from Star Wars. It wasn't just trying to sound like watered down John Williams, and it was doing its own thing, and it was very Western. It really matched the vibe of this lone cowboy Mandalore. All right, let's go to Wild Arms, the 1996 PS1 game. This is the town theme. I love a good RPG town theme. Composed by Michiko Naruke and chosen by Claudio. I love it. I love that tambourine. I love the way it's sampled. I love the way it's used. It's got a nice sort of reverb to it. And mixed with those toms. The tambourine is sort of filling the role of the snare drum. And it's used in the way like a dance beat we use, on that upbeat. So with very little percussion, it manages to totally establish a big groove. A lot of energy, but also, it's not, the song is adventurous. It's got a wistfulness. It has an openness to it because it's using, big tom drums, the tambourine, and these kind of wind instruments. They're like a lot of acoustic instruments, right? Like that's a fake MIDI classical guitar, but it's trying to sound classical. If it wasn't for all the alien monster stuff, you'd enjoy the series more. Oh, I see. Alien monster, like it just as in the enemies, or that's the main plot of it? The cover of Wild Arms looks so bloody good. And being in the PlayStation in that time, just looks like something you need to play, I think I've probably bought a couple copies of this just to have on, anytime they re-release it, but I've never really played it. I for sure have it on one of my Vitas. One of my many Vitas. I'm Vita rich. All right, on to Samurai Western, 2005 game on the PS2. This is Eternity, The Wind's Beginning, composed by Noriyuki A. Asakura, Mega Alpha Inc., chosen by Rudi. A whistle, you don't say. Little mouth harp. A little faster than I thought. Some nice galloping acoustic. Yeah, another one sticking closely to the genre. Rudy's correcting me. Risky Boot picked this one. Okay. Sorry about that, Rudi. Hopefully I didn't miss one of your tracks this week. Who picked the Live Alive Wanderer? Oh, this is Live Alive. This is Rudi. Okay, so maybe this is Risky Boots. And I said Rudi. Okay, all good. It's all fine. Risky Boots. Oh, I see where I fucked up. This is Live Alive Wanderer, composed by Yoko Shimomura. Chosen by Risky Boots. This is not Samurai Western. A great Western track. Beautiful. Epic. Rousing. You know, the whistling evokes that style without ripping it off. The mouth harp is a nice little touch. It's great. All right, now this one is from Samurai Western on the PS2 in 2005. This is Eternity, The Wind's Beginning, Noriyuki, Asakura, Mega Alpha Inc. Chosen by Rudi. So that's pretty neat. You know, that definitely has some kind of flavor to it. It's, you know, I like the feel, the rhythm of it. It's got this ramshackle type feel. It sounds like the band performing it is rumbling along, sitting on a stagecoach, just bouncing along the dirt road, up and down the hills, especially when the band is all kind of coming in. And again, a lot of like really natural instruments, flutes, percussion, you know, strummed instruments, things that don't require any electricity, giving it that ancient vibe. It's a really kind of happy sound to it. So like very overwhelmingly positive. It's interesting. Not what we'd expect for a samurai and western put together. I guess a samurai is just really happy to be out west, where they're finally getting appreciated. All right, next up from Bastion, we have Slinger Song, composed by Darren Korb, chosen by Kris. Oh, yeah. that's a really accurate description, Chris. I think what gives it that heavy, hot feel is that you've got a drum beat that is sparse, slow. It's slow, but all the hits are heavy, you know? Everything is like, it's like if you're walking, where every foot, you're dragging your feet into it. Boom, boom. And with that sort of trippy hoppy beat on the hi-hat, you've got it feeling a bit like the rhythm of, you know, sitting on a horse. Just a nice, big, strong, simple slide acoustic riff. That acoustic is just right up in your face in the mix. The electric sort of dancing around with a lot more reverb hiding in the background. But you can't deny that acoustic riff. It's got a lot of swagger, a lot of confidence. And I guess if you're a little Bastion, you're strutting into this world with confidence to take on all comers. One little small guy with a confusingly colored haircut. Yeah, it does have a sort of like an Arabic feel with some of the percussion we're hearing. There's a lot of this kind of like clanking metal sounds you've been hearing so far for the percussion, with a little bit of traditional rock kit mixed in. But that riff just takes so much time loading up, it's so heavy. Next up, from Monster Hunter Tri, released on the Wii back in 2009, this is Loc Lac, Be Eternal, composed by Tadayoshi Makino and or Yuko Komiyama, chosen by Claudio. Sounds so much like ABBA. You said ABBA song. Fernando or I Have a Dream? I Had a Dream? I tell you what's really interesting about this one is it's done in maybe like 6/8 or 3/4, but it's not your traditional, you know, pa pa pa. It's because they want to have that 1/5 bass, boom 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 boom, but then they're fitting it inside this 3/4 or 6/8. So you'd be like boom 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 boom. How was it? It's like boom 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 ba da dum boom ba da dum boom ba da dum. Yeah, they sort of bring back the that 5-note boom boom, or the 1-note da da. Pretty interesting. Gives a, you know, it's a lot of familiarity, but done in a fresh, twisted way that gives it, lends itself to feeling like a different world. Next up, from SteamWorld Heist, released in 2015. This is Heist Ho, composed by the steam-powered giraffe, chosen by Rudi. Is that a coincidence? Feels like it's speeding up. It's got that steam feel, eh? Think right. Interesting thing with this one is that it never really settles on the one chord. So when it goes through the 4 chords in the transition, you always kind of feel like you're building to something else. You're building to something else. You're building to something else. Yeah, the banjo's a nice rhythm in the background. Acoustic guitar kind of mirroring that. That's the home, right? Yeah. But it just keeps dancing around it. So it's sort of you have a similar thing in the castle theme in the Super Mario Brothers, where it goes bom bom bum 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 bom. So it's like the last note is the first note, and it's not the home note, so you always feel slightly uneasy. So in that way, it's almost like the Shaft theme or something. It just does a good way of building a lot of excitement and anticipation and energy. Next up, from Rimworld, this is Rough Trail, composed by Alistair Lindsay and chosen by Kris. Ooh. Man, what a beautiful acoustic sound. The way they capture that acoustic, so warm, so present, so sparkly. This would fit really well in Bastion. Man, that's really cool. So it uses like bluesy guitar and the acoustic to give you that familiarity, but then some synth and stuff in the background. And the acoustic being a solitary instrument, it's like you're sort of a cowboy out on the edge by yourself. Definitely has the warmth of the intimate acoustic and the shimmery sparkle on top of it. But because they're using these like darker kind of voicings, they're not just playing like, and you know, rather than just like big open chords and the slide and the blues scale and leaving all that space in between too. It does give it that darker, deeper kind of a feel. But I just can't get over how well they recorded that acoustic. Oh my god. That's a lot of warmth and comfort there. Beautiful. Next up from Dillon Rolling Western, The Last Ranger. The Rolling Western theme composed by Kiyoshi Hazemoto. Chosen by Claudio. The hell? Da-da. Yeah. Yeah, when you first hear it, it's kind of like hilariously cartoony and like upbeat and frenetic to match the opening, which was more like stoic, serious. But when you see the gameplay, it's got that, you know, they're going for more of like a cartoon, fast action, silly kind of gameplay. Cool. Yeah, it's exciting. A little more cartoony, but I really like that kind of like twangy guitar and reverb. And there's like not just like excitement. It's not just obnoxious excitement. I think it's pretty well composed, and that banjo is killing it in the background. I think they do a good job too of like varying the rhythms and the feel quite a bit. So it's not just, you know, you would get sick if it was just the same thing over and over again. Yeah, they do a good job. Well, it's about that time we play some Red Dead. Yeah, switching between the lead instrument is it's like a bluegrass technique of, okay, you got like a bass, you got an acoustic and a banjo, sometimes two acoustics, and or maybe like a fiddle too, and they're all playing and supporting each other, and then they take turns just ripping solos. But the solos are usually like very, very rhythmic, and they almost feel like a melody. But from Red Dead Redemption 2, American Venom, composed by Woody Jackson. Fitting name, chosen by risqueboots. Don't those trumpets almost sound like they're from the Super Nintendo at first? Fucking melody. You know what's cool about this is that like, but the rhythm and the groove they give it, this like heavy, slower kind of plodding, the like meanness of the guitars, that like swanging guitar in the background that just keeps hitting the same drone note. It gives it like a villainous sound, but there are heroic notes, which of course, you know, Red Dead Redemption. There's a lot of an anti-hero vibe. You are a criminal, after all. And it keeps building momentum because it stays on that same guitar note. And you have that really classic... I like to think of Rockstar's having... You know, I think of this game and like Bully and the other Red Dead. You usually have this like heavy kind of bass, really like warm, but kind of dirty. Like you're listening to it in a garage or something. Wow, really cool, really epic. And it sounds like a band playing it, because you just have drums. You know, that big swinging guitar, the lead guitar, the bass. Of course, and then there's an orchestra behind it. But they drop out quite a bit. Yeah, that's badass. Yeah, the drums are like John Bonham. I like how there's no drum hit after that. Hey, Mom. How are you? Just gives it like a really heaviness as it's like... It hits that and it just waits. Just raising its arms up to it. Huge. Next up from Armed Fantasia. Not out yet, but this track is. This is the Epic of Armed Fantasia, composed by Michiko Naruke and or Noriyasu Agamatsu, chosen by Rudi. So we have a nice little trailer here that we can watch. stopping. Sounds like they're very excited about putting this game out if you just listen to this song. So yeah, it does sound like it's a successor to Wild Arms. Do they have the same composer as well? Michiko Naruke, Wild Arms. Yeah, Michiko Naruke. But they also have Noriyasu Agamatsu. But I would assume they probably got Naruke, if they were going to do anything, then at least get them to do like the trailer or the opening or something like that. And have another composer maybe finish out the rest of it, flesh out the rest of it. Sounds great. It's super exciting, you know? Great. I mean, you know, trumpets always have a bit more of a Western vibe. They feel very Mexican. Yeah, I could hear castanets in this too. I think it's because you have that kind of like kind of vibe. That groove. Works well with castanets. Next up, from Time Splitters 2, this is Wild West, composed by Graham Norgate. And chosen, of course, by Kris. Did somebody say castanets? Epic. Still has another 3 minutes to go, but Yeah, nice to hear that whip sound and the castanets. I think, again, like they use a few genre-specific instruments. They use them really tastefully. But then they build all around it and create their own world that suits Time Splitters being something, you know, not in the cowboy time necessarily. They probably go back there at a point, but it's cool. Probably just when you add in all that other stuff, it matches the technology that is required for these time-splitting freaks to go back to the Wild West. Get that really kind of, I like that low-down acoustic guitar. Kind of reminds me of StarCraft the Marine thing. It's like a bit of chorus or something on the acoustic. All right, next up from Phoenix Wright, back in 2001 on the Game Boy Advance and DS. This is Jake's Marshall theme, or Jake Marshall's theme, probably more likely. Composed by Noriyuki Iwadare, chosen by Claudio. Similar instrumentation, similar melody, like yeah, the chord changes, kind of a melody shape, big pan flute, galloping guitars, kind of a dancey beat. It has that like Super Nintendo JRPG feel of the more like mechanical, dancey, rockin' sort of backbeat and foundation to it. It does have a Zelda Spirit Tracks feel. This must be the Game Boy Advanced soundtrack. That great sound. Although I wouldn't be surprised if this was from the DS version. Alright, moving on to Wild Guns, released on the Super Nintendo in 1994. This is Armored Train, composed by Hiroyuki Iwatsuki, chosen by Rudi. be a theremin sound, or it could be like trying to imitate maybe a female voice or like a whistle. Because it has that really strong vibrato. Man, this is like rockin' Japanese fucking video game music. The drums sound really good for a Super Nintendo. Although sometimes the Super Nintendo has some timing issues, which is obviously a pretty big problem when you're dealing with music. Sometimes it feels like the drums will slow down a little bit. Really like simple, rockin', pounding. Yeah, exactly. Like it's shoot 'em up. There's a million bullets flying at you. You need to be on your toes. You need it to be high pace and energetic, but not annoying. And they do a good job at switching it up. All right, coming up on our last track of the day. Thank you to risqueboots, Rudi, Kris, Claudio, my mom, everybody for being here, submitting, for figuring it all out in the Discord and making it all happen. Our last track of the day is from The Legend of Zelda Spear Tracks, released in 2009 on the 3DS. This is The Realm Overworld, composed by Koji Kondo and or Toru Minegishi and or Asuka Hayazaki, and chosen by Claudio. Like a perfectly arranged song. It's got this like long winding melody. The shape of the song is nice and long and winding. Feels like it's really inspired by Dragon Blue Island from Wind Waker. Excitement of being free to roam. Right. As you're on the rails, but you're finally able to get out. Like I was going through this gameplay video, and as you can see down here, this is like episode 5 of, you know, before you actually get onto the train, and they're explaining to you the tutorial of how to do it. So you've been stuck not on the train for a long time. This is a very exciting moment. You know what I like about is the you know, it sets it up so nicely. That like beautiful flute sound. But here, you know, this, I find this part really kind of comes out of nowhere. And it's just when you think you know where it's gonna go, right here it changes. Whoa, what the hell's that? That's just a bend in the track, baby. So that's kind of like the build up and the climax of the tension, and then here's the like Nice, exciting release of it. Just kind of winds itself down before looping back around. But I just love the way they use the banjo and the background rhythms. There's just so much going on. It's so dense. It's so exciting. You know, sounds like a train, obviously. All right, that was it. Thanks, everybody, for joining. If you're watching this on YouTube and you want to be a part of it, there should be a link to our Discord in the description. If there isn't, I'll handwrite you one in a comment. If you comment, I'll give you a reply with the link in it. And you can help choose the next theme. You can choose songs. You can come here and discuss them with us. So thanks, everybody, for joining. God, doing the show and prepping for it, looking at all these old games. There's just so many games still I'd love to get to play. And I can't wait till life allows for that a bit more. Because I've never played Wild Arms. I've never played all of this Zelda. I've never played SteamWorld Heist. Time Splitters I haven't played in a long time. So many great games, you know. Alright, I'll see you guys on Discord. And I'll see you then. Goodbye.